Right, well, hello everybody, hope you're all safe, hope you are all well. You join me on a Sunday afternoon, cloudy, but still a little bit warm with a little bit of a breeze in the air. Anyway, enough about the weather. I am out with Ali Hayden in front of me, Maynard Matry behind me, and of course my fiancée Sarah on the back of the bike. And the bike, you might see, is a little bit different. This is a Triumph Tiger 1200 Rally Explorer. I know, right? What on earth are you playing at, Rhythmic? Where's the ZZR? The ZZR's neatly tucked away at home. This is my future father-in-law Hayden's brand new Triumph Tiger, and he's been very kind to let me and Sarah go out on it for today, see what we think. As some of you might know, we are looking for a more two-up appropriate motorcycle. So let's give this a little bit of a go. Not a full-on review, just a bit of a first impressions. So obviously, like every big adventure bike, especially when you're coming from something quite sporty and leant forward like a ZZR, the first thing you notice is the height. I am absolutely, I'm a giant. I am towering the world at the moment. I'm quite tall anyway. I'm about 6'3" for those who have met me in person. So when you whack me on something like this, a ginormous Triumph Tiger 1200, that's the first thing I feel. I feel very much like I have a presence on the road and I can see so much ahead of me. I will say, however, I have only done up to about 60 miles an hour, and despite the bike being quite tall, myself being quite tall, this screen in front of me does quite a good job. I think I've just beeped the horn there by accident. I'm so not used to it, as you can see. But this screen in front of me is doing quite well. I'm not feeling any buffeting on my helmet, so that's good. It seems to be taking the wind all over me. I'll just ask Sarah how she is. How are you? Comfy. So Sarah's comfy and high. Have you got any wind on the helmet? No wind on the helmet, so that's always good as well. So yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll get to take this out on some faster roads today, and I'll be able to compare it then. So as I mentioned at the start, this is the Rally Explorer. So you get the Rally Pro or the Rally Explorer, and then you get the GT Pro or the GT Explorer. The Explorers are a little bit more money. They come with a 30-litre tank, which this one does. And Hayden was telling me he can get about 400 miles out of a tank. That's incredible, isn't it, really? However, the rallies are more suited for off-road, or at least their focus is more off-road, whereas the GT models are more road focused, more touring focused. So at the moment, like I say, me and Sarah are definitely looking at the market and seeing what's out there and seeing what we'd like as a second bike that's more appropriate for two-up. A Triumph Tiger would not be out of the question. I don't think I would need a rally. I'm not actually too sure what. I think Hayden's gotten the rally because he is about 6'4", 6'5". He's massive, so the extra height that this has over the GT suits him quite well. I'm not a short man, but I just don't think I would need the extra height. Personally, I think the GT Explorer would be the one I go for if me and Sarah decide that this is the way for us. But it's very comfy. It's very comfy at the moment, so yeah, looking forward to riding it some more today and seeing what I think. Okay, well, whilst I'm getting my gloves on, you can actually get a look at the Tiger with all of the luggage, all of the gizmos, everything that's on it. Rude. Absolute beast of a bike, isn't it? It's got a lot of presence. I love the spotlights just as a bit of an additional. The mud guard down at the bottom. I'm not a fan of spoke wheels or knobbly tyres. I wouldn't off-road one of these anyway, because it's just a beast of a thing. So what are we working with? So obviously 1200cc, but not exactly. It's like 1140 or something like that. 147, 148 brake horsepower, 140 newton meters of torque, I think it is. That's sort of what you expect, isn't it, from the inline triple? You've got that low down torque of that's what Triumph always try and say, don't they? They try and say that their three-cylinder sort of has the low down torque of a V twin and the high end of an inline four, thanks to the extra cylinder. So so far from our very limited riding, the mid-range is the area that impresses me the most. We haven't taken it high up the RPM range, but I don't expect this bike to knock my socks off with its top end speed at all. So let's talk about some other little features. We have the quick shifter, which is coming in handy. I'm really enjoying that. Seems to work a wide variety of the rev range, you know, up and down as well, so that's really nice. I'm not used to having a quick shifter, so I keep coming off the throttle even though I don't have to, but I'll get used to that with time, I'm sure. It has these blind spot indicators, so these little lights in the corner of the mirrors, just to tell you that something's behind you, like probably your car does at this point. So handy, I suppose. It has been a little bit of a distraction at times as well, because I'm like, well, what's there? And obviously if you're riding in a pack, it's just going to be the person that's riding behind you in the formation. What else do we have? We obviously have all the riding modes, all the gadgets and gizmos you could ever want on this. There's a Triumph app that I know does a lot of connectivity with this screen, with the TFT screen. Today I have set the suspension, the ABS and the traction, everything onto normal. I think that ranges all the way up from comfort, down from comfort, all the way up to sport mode, or sport suspension, sport, etc, etc. So it's got the bells and the whistles, it's got everything you'd ever want, radar front and rear. It's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely mental the amount of stuff this comes with. Cruise control, restricted, there's too many options, too many gizmos on this bike for me to explain, but it does come very fully loaded with tech. So here we are, 6th gear, 71, 72 miles an hour on a dual carriageway. We have Uncle Red on the V-Strom in front of us, and wind noise, buffeting, yeah, still not as bad as I would have feared. Obviously a little bit more noticeable than what it was on, say, the 50-mile-an-hour roads, so you know, that extra bit of speed. Obviously this screen, though, it's still doing its job. It's still taking most of the air away from me. Up above, this little lip here is probably helping it quite a lot, so I'm very happy about that. And yeah, no, just that, I think that goes to show that you could very comfortably use this on a motorway, especially if you're going to do long distance touring. These extra fins at the side that take the air away from you, they just keep the air off my body, which is yeah, awesome, absolutely awesome. I don't feel like I'm being thrown side to side, which is quite good because it's such a big bike, so I wouldn't want that, but yeah, very happy. So if I haven't mentioned it already, there's not much difference between the Rally Explorer and the GT Explorer. The only thing obviously is you will have a 19-inch front wheel as opposed to the 21. No spokes because you won't need it. You'll have off-road tyres as Uncle Red has demonstrated, but you still get the 30-litre tank, which is really good. And also the GT Explorer, I don't know the heights, but it's a little bit lower. Whereas here you obviously have it more upright. The ground clearance here is crazy. It's so high, and you wouldn't need that on the road version. So not much to choose from them. Other than that, yeah, same engine, same bike. If I haven't done so already, let's give a massive shout out to my future father-in-law, Hayden, in front of me, for letting me out on his brand new toy. Literally only owned it about a week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever it is, and he for some reason trusts me out on it, and with his daughter no less. So yeah, thank you so much, Hayden. This is I'm loving this so far. We've been out like, we'll say late morning. We're now coming up to 1 o'clock, so good couple hours on it, and yeah, really enjoying it so far. There you go. So, do you want it on setting number 1 or setting number 2? Okay. Oh, you want it on setting number 2? Okay. The skies have gotten a little bit grey, so Sarah has decided it's time to test out the heated seat. It does have heated seat front and rear. I don't need it because, well, I'm English, but you're cold. Something else, just before we quickly ride away, something else I just want to shout out. Brembo Stylomer monoblock brakes front and rear. That is super cool. That is so good. This thing brakes like, well, like a sports bike really. It's got such an intense brake system. Yeah, you're good to get on. Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk to you like that. Yeah. Oop. Right, throw that up. So yes, very impressed with the brakes. It stops very well, literally on a dime, which is what you'd want for a big old beast like this, wouldn't you? So yeah, more than impressed with the braking systems. I might have briefly touched on it before, but I really love this this display here. Really big, nice big unit. Do you know what I mean? I believe a lot of this is customizable. I think you can change bits and bobs to it here and there, but I love this setting. You've got your digital speed limit there, your digital RPM, you've got a gear indicator, you've got your fuel gauge down at the bottom, what lights you're on, because you can change there's a flick somewhere for your lights, time in the corner, I believe that's air temperature, in fact it is air temperature because 20.5 degrees. Everything you could want and more is there. And then if you fiddle about, like if you go into your modes, you can obviously change what mode you want to be in, etc. throughout the whole time. All of that you can do whilst you're riding the bike, which is nice. And yeah, it's just really straightforward, simplistic, does the job. So obviously the purpose of today's experiment and today's video was the fact that me and Sarah needed to try something that was a lot more appropriate for two-up riding. Now, as much as all the good things I've said about the bike, what is most important in this experiment is what my fiance Sarah feels about the bike. Now, I would go as far to say as Sarah is a very experienced pillion. She's done tens of thousands of miles on the back of motorcycles, ranging from her dad's GSX-S and my Kawasaki ZZR 1400, as well as a few little trips here and there on other bikes. So I've spoken to her over the cardo, and the feedback is relatively positive. Obviously she's more used to being leant forward right up against me on the ZZR. However, what she does appreciate is being able to actually see everything on this bike. You're much higher up. That does take a little bit of getting used to, but you are much higher up. You can see way more of the road, way more than what's going on around you. And I think after you get over that, I think she's been quite happy about that. In terms of the seat, she has said the seat on the Triumph Tiger 1200 Rally Explorer, the Pillion seat, is comfortable. It's not as wide as the ZZR seat. That is just going to be because obviously the ZZR in its own right is an absolute tank. It's a very wide sporty bike, so yeah, I think the seat width might just have it over the Tiger 1200 Rally Explorer. But in terms of its softness, Sarah doesn't say there's much difference there. The thing that ultimately has, I think, won Sarah over in terms of the seating position or the seat itself is obviously going to be where her legs are. I've said it before, Sarah is quite tall for a lady. How tall are you exactly? So yeah, Sarah's about 5'9". So yeah, tall for a lady. She's got long legs, and the seating position on the ZZR is obviously quite aggressive. You know, your legs are very much in that V shape, whereas on this, it's like being sat down on a chair at home. Criticisms that she has had: the actual foot pegs themselves, she believes are too short, and I have to admit I am in agreement with her. I have had a look at them, and they could do with just being a couple of inches longer. Now, I wonder if for a bike like this, similar to the rider pegs, I think the rider pegs on this has those adventure, yeah it does, it has those adventure style ones. I wonder if you could get those to go on the rear as well. I would be surprised if you couldn't. Other than that, we've got the heated seat on the rear now for Sarah. It is on setting number 2, and I was interested to see how that worked, because motorcycle gear is usually quite thick, or at least you want it to be. So I was wondering if Sarah would actually get to feel it through the gear. She has reported that setting number 2 that it's on now is pleasant. It's noticeable, you know the heated seat is on, but to be honest, probably wouldn't bother with setting number 1, because if setting number 1 is obviously, as you expect, to be a little less, more, what's the word, a little less more intense than setting number 2. I just don't think she'd feel much benefit to it. But overall, I think it's a very successful day out for myself in terms of the riding of the bike. I'm really impressed on how easy it is to get on with, especially coming from myself. I've been riding a long time, but I've been riding sports bikes. I am not good enough to just, you know, normally jump on anything with 2 wheels and give it a crack. I will do, and I have done, but I wouldn't say I'm expertise. That just goes to show you there how good those brakes are. I don't know the road. I'm very much following the group here. But yeah, brakes are absolutely fundamentally, they're so good. And that quick shift is lovely as well. But yeah, so those are all my sort of verdicts on I'm falling in love a bit with the bike. Again, still not sure if I'd be sold on the Rally Explorer or if I'd want the GT Explorer. But from Sarah's point of view, from Sarah's perspective, I think this is a candidate, yeah? So, yeah, I've gotten a yes from Sarah. And so it goes in the list. It's definitely something that we now have to consider. We desperately need a more appropriate 2-up bike. Don't worry, the ZZR will never go. I absolutely love the ZZR, and and so does Sarah. We do love it. We did France on it last year, and oh, we just can't do that again. And obviously, we want to go touring. We want to travel as much as we can on the bikes. So the ZZR is just not going to be that bike. But could this? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. Of course, like the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. But I think we're going to wrap it up here, and we're going to enjoy our ride. So, until the next time, whenever that may be, cheers.